Bitcoin and altcoin and crypto fans. Not for sure where this live stream will start. I'm addressing you, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to do a different type of public YouTube video because I owe my private community back some questions that I didn't get to, and I'm going to go ahead and simply make this both a live stream and a recorded video. We're going to cover Bitcoin first, then essentially you'll see me do a fast track through a bunch of questions that for one live stream I didn't get to, but also I messed up personally a recording for my Discord community. So for my YouTube community, links to that below. I didn't get to all the questions. I'm going to go over them now. And also for my Discord community, I hit the wrong button on my recording software, so I'm going to have to do a very speedy go through of all the things that were asked during those two. And for public viewers, we're just going to make it what it is. So this will have timestamps. Use the timestamps down below to get to the parts that you want to see. And no further ado, let's go get some Bitcoin. Get it. Again, this is a makeup, so I probably won't be doing requests unless a non-member comes in with a super chat or something. But let's start off with the parts I did not cover from my Cryptillion all community live chat. I screwed up the recording. I feel like an idiot. But the first part was here, as you can see my timestamps at the top. What altcoin holders should be thinking. BTC analysis. I'm going to go to a large term time frame Bitcoin. And again, this is all going to be very sped up during the private community events. These are very in depth. As you can see, I spent 8 minutes talking about it from the timestamps. However, what you should be thinking is this. Last bull market, 20K top, 3,200 bottom, 14K rally up to 14K, then nearly double bottomed. Nearly double bottomed. After, and so all of this area, 3,200, 1,400, and all that sideways around 10, 12K, that is what you would call an intermediate phase, connecting a bear market to a bull market, intermediate phase in the middle. Bear market sometime in 2025, most likely late 2024, probably 2025. 2025 starts here. Bull market, intermediate phase in the middle. And so the two main questions altcoin holders should be asking themselves is, hey, are we going to not do something like this, not do a near double bottom intermediate phase, knowing that we didn't do what happened in 2015 and 2014, 2015 bottom of the bear market? It didn't do an intermediate phase. It just did a double bottom. Its intermediate phase was all down low with a double bottom. And we didn't get that this time. We could, though, but the bear market after that in 2018, 2019, where it went down from 20K to 3,200, is you had a whole intermediate phase with a massive rally, then a nearly higher low. So the question is, do you think that something completely different will happen here and that the bull market's starting early? But just realize that even though it's a black swan, Bitcoin made its nearly double bottom move down. These are monthly scales. Look, a month and a half before the halving. We're 150 days from the halving. So this is the question you're going to ask yourself. Given that it has corrected hard before here of the halving, and we're going up to the halving before, the question you ask yourself is, hey, what's the chances we actually do go straight into bull market? I personally don't think they're very high, but you don't have to think that way. Ask yourself this question. Do I think this is going to happen? And history will not repeat itself and it'll be more bullish. And if you're holding alts that are currently in profit, not trading on futures, altcoin holders who have bought, somewhere since January of 2023, when most altcoins went up 400%. So if you're in good profit from altcoins, because you ignored the ideas of the threats of the SEC making crypto go down even more, which never happened. So people who ignored that threat are in a win right now. You need to ask yourself, when should I guard against the idea that this might be an intermediate phase with another higher low somewhere, maybe not crazy down low, but it's reasonable to say at 30K. And from current prices, that would be a 43% drop on Bitcoin. And the last intermediate phase, and that would be small. Look, the last intermediate phase, it's like 72. Yeah, it is 72. 72%. That was the intermediate phase correction. So what's more reasonable? To think early bull market for the first time ever, with no double bottom and no like ridiculously obvious high or low. No double bottom, no super clear high or low. This is super clear. Technically, actually, I used the wrong word. That is super clear high or low. Super clear and non-aggressive high or low. That's a very aggressive and high bullish weekly high or low. It's a monthly high or low. But we didn't get something like this. And so, I want altcoin holders to be thinking, hey, when do I start bailing out? And I can't spend 8 minutes on this, even though I already spent 7. So the idea on this is a one, now I'm on a different time frame. This channel's just over a year long. Bitcoin left this channel in a bearish sense. So 15.5 low here. We're looking at 1 year, just over a year price action. It left the channel, got back in, is getting rejected potentially from the point of control. And if it starts leaving this channel, that would be the time to say, hey, I'm probably going to start scaling out of alts, and we're going to wait for a New Year's correction, which has happened. Is it 14 of 14? 14 of 14 years in a row. The smallest correction was 27.5% in 2015. That was the smallest New Year's correction. And so this is the second question you need to, like, this is on top of the question you need to be asking yourself here, is am I going to bet that it's going to be 14 out of 15 now? For the first time ever, we don't get a New Year's correction. And to define a New Year's correction, you need to envision a middle point with a left and right arm. A middle, like a pole in the middle, a left arm, or whatever that direction is for you, right arm, and each arm is 45 days long for a total of 90 days. 100% of times, 14 out of 14 times, in that roughly 90-day window, early mid-November through mid-February, there's been a correction of roughly 30% or more. The only year that didn't get it was 2015, 27.5%. And so intermediate phase, 14 out of 14, I'm in great profit on my altcoins. Just, you need to start thinking, hey, when do I start paying myself back? I don't know when you bought. I don't know when you plan on selling. I don't know if you think we're in a bull market or not. But I know that some of you who are watching this, whether it's live, recorded, or whatever, you don't have a game plan. And so I'm offering a very simple game plan for those altcoin holders is, boom, is if this year-long line for the second time is broken, we're probably going to do 15 out of 15. Because of the way channels work. It's your second time coming out, you don't get back into it. You do sideways / down and you make new channels. This channel will expire if it breaks below it again. That's how channels work. Your second time falling out, you don't get back in. It is that simple. And that works on the 15-second chart too. I mean, if I dived into here and went on like a 1-minute chart, I could find all sorts of channels where it went down and up and got rejected and down a second time and never went back in. All sorts of things like that. It's just a bigger channel. And so for altcoin holders, just following my channel, even though I don't do a lot of public YouTube stuff. Most of my stuff is private videos, which we do like 4 days a week. Yeah, 4 days a week, Tuesday through Fridays, both YouTube and Discord community. So if you really want to pay attention to my ideas here on this line for altcoin holders, then you might want to check out the private YouTube or Discord community for that. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. But as of now, Bitcoin is still within the channel. It's looking just fine. Like, it's in a bullish pattern. It could bounce on this, form, some type of descending triangle here and bounce above and keep going. It is possible. But if it leaves, then that 15 out of 15 will probably be simulated or continued. But if it can stay above here, this is the moment you'll know whether it'll be the first time ever you're changed 14 out of 14 to 14 out of 15. 1 year it didn't happen. You'll know if it can stay above this exact. This is the line, I'm telling you. We've been looking at it for over a year and it keeps working perfectly. This is the line for that New Year's correction. When it becomes very, it's probable it's beginning now. or it's in action, it has been triggered. Now, there's ETF news, January 10th. So it could easily go up to 48K and then do it. And if that were to happen, going back to that line would probably be 30 to 40%. Nope, it wouldn't be. Nope, it'd only be 15% down. So you'd probably still get a New Year's correction just below it. So even 48K can't save it from staying in here unless it's the first time ever that you don't get a New Year's correction. 27.5 or 30%. All right, so please be asking yourself, now I do have to go fast. BTC price path predictions through summer of 2024. Okay, I will have to do this on the fly. And again, so the level of in-depth I just did there is more reminiscent of, is actually, I did a little longer than I did on the live chat. But price paths, I'm going to go to my macro channel. I honestly think, my guess is mostly sideways for 2024. And I think it's going to hit this line, which has not been touched since Bitcoin was $2. This line, the line that's being used as resistance now, has not been used as resistance since Bitcoin was $7. $7. So let's go back in time. Resistance at $7. Support here on this line at $2. These lines haven't been touched since then. So this is their super macro, mega macro channel. And this is a monthly EMA 10 and 21 where it flips bullish, but it's still corrected. And we got the flip now. It's green, but it can still do a higher low. And most likely will. So my idea, I'm not going to guess how low things go, but honestly, I think the low probably has to be in. I don't think it's going to go below that line. And if it does, then that's really pretty bad for Bitcoin. So I think, at this point, the bottom is statistically exceptionally likely to be in. And over time, when we're here, I didn't think it was likely. I didn't think it was likely. And over here, I started saying, man, it's probably 40% likely. And I changed my tune pretty quickly once the daily trend started getting really nice. And the weekly trend, actually. Particularly the weekly trend got into an uptrend. So I slowly changed my tone, and now it's just hyper probable that the bottom, any type of low is going to be a higher low on this oscillation, like in a cycle move. So, that's still, even if it gets down there fairly aggressively, like boom, 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 like just straight down, that's only 25K. Where it's already based off of there twice. Like one time for 80 days. And so I think in 2024, it's going to go straight across, use this as support, and once it gets above the current local high, which could end up being 48K, so once it gets back above, like now I'll go to the weekly or something. So my prediction for 2024 is mostly sideways in general. Plenty of trading up and down, but mostly sideways. That this orange line specifically is hit. You could hit 48K first. Something to this effect. And still hit this line closer to 30K. And then specifically, this is the New Year's right here. New Year ended. And so 2024, I think it will be trying to challenge whatever local high it puts in on the weekly here. Either 44 or 48. And at that exact point in a year in the future, late December, I think price will be almost exactly where it is now. Even if it goes way down first, I think it'll come up this line. And in 1 year, that's the same price. So in a year, yeah, I think it'll be the exact same price. Like within a couple $1,000 in the same month. It's a crazy prediction, but whatever. That's what I'm predicting. All right. So the last time I was dead wrong. Okay, good. I've saved a minute. I'm going a minute faster now. I was dead wrong on the following. So for particularly for public YouTube, this is going to be helpful because when do you see a YouTuber covering, hey, this is the last time I was super wrong and I want everybody to learn from it. And why was I wrong? And how will I adjust or not adjust? That is the main idea here. I was wrong, but, and there's a catch. I would choose to be wrong in the same way the next time if I were presented the same thing. I would choose to be wrong in the same way, and that's weird. So, the last time I was dead wrong was right here. in September of this year, 2023, on a weekly time frame. The weekly closed a candle below there, breaking the uptrend. So high, higher low to this low. The uptrend was confirmed on that massive weekly candle. Weekly uptrend confirmed, right? Historically, when your trend goes from uptrend to a broken uptrend, so oftentimes it goes to no trend, as it usually doesn't go straight from uptrend to downtrend immediately. There's an intermediate, there's a no trend, where you have a higher high, but you have a lower low. Or you have a higher low, but a lower high. You don't have higher and higher or lower and lower. You have to have lower and lower to have a downtrend, higher and higher to have an uptrend. So if you have a higher and a lower, which is what we had here, we had a higher high, but a lower low, the trend was broken. And the reason I was wrong, actually not reason I was wrong. Reason I was wrong is because I was wrong. The price went up. The reason I would choose to be wrong again is because from a statistical perspective, it's like 12 out of 13 times it had worked. So whenever the trend on the weekly goes from up to broken, and I calculated all of them, like I got all of the trend changes specifically on the weekend, or on the weekly scale. And every time it goes specifically from up to broken or up to down, I think there were a couple cases where it went straight to like downtrend. But that change got the correct trend on a time scale of about 6 months to 18 months. All times in all of Bitcoin history, minus once, with one exception. One only exception, and it's not like there were only 3 cases, you know, like 3 for 3. No, it was like, it was, I think it was something to the effect of 12 out of 13. And I calculated, I thought it was like 87%, whatever that. How many? What would my denominator be? Nope, it might have only been 11 times. Something there. No, 90. No, maybe lower. 8 out of 9? I thought it was. Perhaps it was only 9 times. It was close to 90% historical, but only one time ever it didn't work. And so I think the sample size was a little lower than I thought. So let's say it happened 8 out of 9 times in all of Bitcoin history. Now it's happened 8 out of 10 times because that one didn't work. It did not, that trend change specifically from up, not from down to up. And I think that would work too, though. I think that actually would work. I didn't calculate that. I only did uptrend weekly to a broken trend. This was the second time in Bitcoin history it did not correctly get the trend for a 6 to 18 month period. So I thought I would share with you how I got that wrong, you know, and how I would adjust in the future. But I don't think I would. I would choose that same if I could get something with a sample size of like 6, 7, 8, or preferably 15 or higher. But if you're 14 out of 15 on something, I'm gonna go with the idea that the next event, when you have 16 events, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be 15 out of 16. I'm not going to guess that it'll remain 14, but now it's 2 times it didn't happen. And that's why I would choose to be wrong in the same fashion there. Perhaps a little bit more cautious. I mean, yeah, but I think I was cautious here. Because there was the weekly 200 being used as support. And it didn't use it as resistance, so I was cautious there. But that's the last time I was completely dead wrong. Yeah. There's a lot of people, a lot of new people who follow my channel, and they, I don't know, they say weird things, so I thought I would question is a good one. Okay, so we got Derek's question. All right, now I'm going to go to my YouTube live questions. So I had a member, Mickey Mickler, or username Mickey Mickler. What do you think about Dogecoin and Shiba? Oh no, the first one was Ren and Celo. Sorry, I missed one. Ren and Celo. This is from the previous YouTube live that I could not finish because I had to go. I think my wife was just blowing up my phone and got some comments. Thanks for tell your wife thanks for sharing you. Ren and Celo. What do I think about them? All right. I have no idea. Okay, it did hit this bottom line pretty well. So this is going to be the channel. I would try... So this is a little bit too small. I would try to... If I were a fan of Ren... Oop. These are rotated rectangles that I'm pissing around with here. And again, I have a course on how to draw these. It's within my my first 8 tutorial videos that I've recorded. Shows you how to do all these. Even though I think I did it with lines, but instead of rotated rect. Alright, that looks good. Okay, I don't know if this is all the price history. But we're going to go with this. So this saw the 2021 bull market in its entirety, came out 2019 or earlier. How much X did it do? It did about a 55 to 60X. Has it gone down less than 98%? Has gone down right at 98%. So I don't know anything about this, but if I felt that the team and the fundamentals were such that they're going to make it through 1 year of sideways where nothing's happening, if I feel that they as a company could get through a predicted 1 year of sideways, then DCAing throughout 2024 as it rides up this line or stays as long as it's under this line, if you could try to replicate that, that could be your DCA before a break above that, the horizontal at 16 cents. Assuming, so if my year of sideways is correct, it'll essentially fill out this area between the bottom and the 1/4 line of the super mega macro channel. Now, can it break below here? Sure. Yeah, it can. If Bitcoin, does a nasty 30% drop, this will probably do a wick below it. 45% is a wick below, could easily get right back into it. So if you happen to find price below this line, if you think Bitcoin is going to do, 15 out of 15 now? If you think Bitcoin's going to go for 15 out of 15 years, as opposed to 14 out of 15 being the first year ever, we don't get a New Year's correction on 45 days on each side of New Year's as the middle point. If your brain says it won't happen this year for the first time ever, then you could, really race into it now, and it's technically in about the same positioning that it's in a good DCA spot, technically. Under the assumption that the fundamentals, your research, which I haven't done, says that they will make it through 1 year of boring price action. And then trying to scoop it under here, and as it's bouncing on here, would probably be your DCA over time throughout 2024. I don't think you'd have to race into it, because this is still in a weekly downtrend, high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. Even if it starts correcting now, it's going to have to form a U shape. It'll spend a lot of time like this, probably a year. That is Ren. And Celo. Oops. A very similar situation. I can't make the channel the same, but this is similar to Flux, where you have its entire bear market slope line. It's challenging it right now. It could be an exceptionally big break above, but because it didn't break above as Bitcoin went to 44K, it's exceptionally unlikely to break above on its first try. Therefore, you should on this one, the major thing you do is you're going to want to connect the wick high, that's all-time high, to the wick high of March of 2022. You're going to want to connect those, and you could make it a rotated rectangle, specifically where you connect the wicks of the ones adjacent to it. So I'm going to dive down here. I'm going to make this red because it will be strong resistance. But if and when, assuming it breaks above, it'll be an exceptionally strong breakout too. Red's an awful color, I forgot. Whatever, we can do it like this. So I'm going to drag the top of this to touch the very wick highs of the top ones. Showing you how I do this, boom and boom. So it's not actually perfect. I need to adjust exactly on it. And the width of it, how wide this is from here to this needs to touch the wicks here. So this wick right here, I can make this a little thinner. And I'll show you what I'm doing. I did this before Flux was in here, and you'll see how awesome this is. Like if you are a fan of this, or your altcoin's doing something similar, man, it's so close it won't let me do it. It's close enough. That's as close as I can get it. Right. So now in the future, when it gets in here, ooh, it is in there. Okay, never mind. So let's go to the really micro time frames. Not bad. Yeah, so the breakout, you will be able to catch a super macro breakout of a 2-year trend line based off looking at the 5-minute chart. I'm on the 15-minute, but you can see it on the, once it gets above here, use it as support and takes out its punch high. So it punches through the top, use it as support, and breaks that punch high. That's when it'll accelerate. There are a couple of exceptions to that. If it approaches the upper resistance with a higher low fashion and gets squeezed up, then it doesn't have to come back to touch this. It can have lower highs, but has to have higher lows going up to resistance. Those are the two ways that resistance is broken in crypto. Oh, and the third one is news, but you can't trade news. Well, you can, but you know what I'm talking about. You can't reliably trade news. Unless you're an insider, and then you should trade news, which I sure would too. And that's Celo. And a great comparison to how that would work for you on any altcoin that you can find in a similar situation is Flux. It is filling that area out now. And just as a comparison point, let's go in here, dive away. So this is a 2-year line I'm looking at on the 5-minute chart. It tried. Wow. Look. So its second attempt to get above. Punch high, did not use it as support, challenges the punch high, uses it as support, and once you get above that punch high is typically when you get a lot of acceleration, and there you go. And that took 2 tries to do it. But Bitcoin is now correcting, and it looks like it's going to pull it back into here. It already has. So Bitcoin ruined that party. Had Bitcoin gone up to 48K, this would have had. This is a 2-year long line. Would have had an exceptionally large breakout. And you can see the structure here is different. Watch. Look, did it ever get over its punch high? Punched above. Because here, it didn't use it as support, so that's not a punch high. So boom, punch high, landed on it higher low, never took out the punch high, therefore never accelerated. That's the difference. Punch high, support, you accelerate once you get back over there. It's the way it works every time, and see the difference. So once again, above this line right here, here's that same channel I did. Punch high, higher low, you accelerate right as you take that out. All right. And so that is a special situation where you can get into, like, let's say whenever it breaks above, let's say it happens next summer or whatever, going into some bull market of 2025. I mean, you could technically be on the 5-minute chart getting into some type of trade, whether it's spot or leverage, that just stays green the entire bull market by watching the break. Okay, what do I think about Dogecoin and Shiba? Shiba, will they make all-time highs this bull market? Dogecoin, I believe it will. Ooh, Dogecoin's in a crazy good long setup right now. On short-term time frames only, though. Only on short-term. It's not a trade that you could stay in for days, probably. It's a very strong formation on micro time frames. Yeah, so on Dogecoin, not on micro time frames, because that wasn't the question. It has broken above. So its channel was a little bit different. It was trickier. So this was technically the top of its channel, and it got rejected, came out, used it as support, is coming up. So it should start accelerating really heavily after it gets above 11 to 12 cents. Look left, local high. Yeah, because Dogecoin has been so incredibly strong, and this is another thing I was dead wrong on. I thought Dogecoin would hit here. 2.9 cents. Didn't even get close to that. But most of my lower targets for altcoins, it got hit or lower. Harmony 1, like all the ones like that people thought, oh, like, yeah, Trias hit it perfectly at 80 cents. It probably bounced from 80 cents just because I think more people, I have the biggest Trias following on the internet, on YouTube at least, English-speaking internet. So I think I created a self-fulfilling prophecy on that on accident. But, yeah, Dogecoin has the structure it's done from cycle to cycle. This is such an aggressive higher low that it should easily take that high out. Now, do I think like $12 and $10? Probably not. You know, if it hits 75 cents up here, maybe, you know, kind of like Cardano and Ethereum over its previous all-time highs, it did a 3-4x above it. I think it's reasonable to say Dogecoin will 3-4x that, maybe hit $3. So it's the price point of Dogecoin could be similar to the price points of XRP 2 bull markets ago, when it was hovering around 19 to 20 cents forever, went up to $3. $3.15. I think that the exact price point, not market cap, not, you know, the shape, but just overall price points, it could really spend a lot of time close to 19 cents. But in a different, 19 cents, and then go up to $3. It could go up to $3. And then Shiba, I know nothing of Shiba. I don't deal with that. But man, this was aggressive. So it only did a 10x there? Is that all of price? That didn't go up as high as I thought. 13x. It must have had, I bet it had previous price history where people did much better X's, but we're looking at this area. I don't know. It's only went down 95%. That's technically pretty strong for an altcoin. It kind of looks like it's gonna want to get sucked back into that price. I think it has a strong chance of challenging all-time highs. I just don't know if I see it breaking all-time highs and going above and beyond in a blue sky breakout. So Monero, the shirt I have on now, did that last bull market. It only challenged its highs. Litecoin only challenged its highs. 80% of altcoins made a significantly lower high from the 20K Bitcoin top, wherever it went up there. They like 80% of altcoins made a lower high. And so a few like Monero, Litecoin challenged the highs. I think this is a good candidate for that. Right? That's that one. Dave Carlson asked, oh no, the screen was messed up. Jared Kenget asked on Tuesday, CoinX or MEXC need VPN for CoinX now? Okay, I think he's responding to somebody else from there. Where where do you think BTC is going for a shorter time frame? I.e., this week I anticipate under 40K, or does FOMC tomorrow make it too volatile to guess? Well, that was from yesterday. So I think your guess was... Or no, we were talking yesterday. Okay. Short term, I don't want to guess. You'll want to wait. Don't guess, just wait. And here is how to implement that specifically. I'll give you the exact tools and how to not guess. So whenever you're trying to figure out, hey, on the 1 hour, we broke trend. This is a downtrend, lower high, lower low, confirmed, and now we're reversing up and out. But on the daily, this is a bullish pullback. Look at these candles. It went straight to the daily. The daily 21 is like right like this right now. It went straight to it. And these candle reactions, daily candles off here, looks like an aggressive higher low before higher highs, right? Or will we get a New Year's correction sooner and do this? So what is happening now is the question, do we see 48K before a New Year's correction, which is exceptionally likely, or do we get a lower high and then New Year's correction, question mark? So that's how I'm going to rephrase your question. And so you don't have to guess, you can just wait, because if the New Year's correction is going to happen with this very nice daily bullish pullback, despite a mini micro flash crash on the 1 hour, you don't have to guess. You can just go like this, watch. Just connect, make your slope line of the current top and its first significant, stick out high, lower high. And then what you can do is you can make it slightly wider by using a projection tool on both sides. Just make it a little fatter. Give yourself some breathing room. And then once price gets up in here is how you will know whether or not which case will happen. 48K first before a correction, with the assumption a New Year's correction will happen. It's a safe assumption, but it's not 100%. Even though it has been 100%, but that doesn't guarantee future. With that safe assumption, very low likelihood of being wrong with that, 48K first or sooner than later. You're going to know because of how price acts here. Price is going to hit that. Like I was saying that during my VIP call, like after this shape right here, I was like, yeah, this is going to be hit. And I said, this is a great setup for a long, blah, blah, blah. You can at least get 3%, put your stop in profit, or stop at break even, minimum being a risk-free trade, so it's going to hit. This shape right here on a micro time frame is just too bullish. So you're going to be able to tell from a large perspective, 48K first for a correction or stop here, then correction, by how price interacts. That's it. Does it? So there are two good ways to go above. It gets rejected first, boom, fills this out, stays above this line right here, and then on the second try breaks up. Which, if that happens, it does not need to break above, come back, retest it, and go back up. If it just maintains higher lows on this 1 year, is this a mega trend line? Yeah, this is a macro mega trend line. Bitcoin got rejected by this exact line when is this right? Or is this the yearly? Oh, this is a 1 year line. I'm sorry. It's not super macro. Nope, this is our 1 year channel. I apologize. I got lost in my chart. Not the first time that's happened. So I'm on a 1 year chart. This line is just over 1 year old, not $7 Bitcoin. So as long as it can get rejected from here, but maintain higher lows on this 1 quarter line, that is one way, like I showed earlier, to break above resistance, maintain higher lows, even with lower highs, doesn't matter, higher lows, boom. Or it could go above and then use it as support, which it would technically have to without news, which there is news coming up soon. But the news could be what propels it, like the no rate hikes, and then it comes down to use it as support, and then it goes up. And if you see that, ooh, like if right, not this point here, because it can still break below, failure rejection pattern, but right like here, that's where it's exceptionally likely to take out these highs and go closer to 48K. Exceptionally likely, because remember, this is an aggressively bullish daily pullback. So if the micro time frames then flip bullish, it's there and then an agreement with the daily, and people are going to start buying. It's going to go way up. But you won't know until you see the reaction of price specifically on this line. Don't guess, just wait. You'll be able to tell. But earlier, on this 1 hour candle here, which I would have been stopped out because it went below my stop. I said I put the stop below that 1 hour. We would have had to try it twice. Tricky play. Yeah, this is going up right now. Like it's going. So perhaps by the time I'm done, we're gonna see price playing it. Yep, a lot of higher leverage stuff. You got to try 2 and 3 times to get into position. All right, let's pay under. All right, well, it did go under. No, it almost went under 40K, but now it's back up at 40. There you go. And then hivemapper honey. Honeymoon token. I don't even know how to deal with this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. You need to help me figure out how to figure that one out. It's on Solana. What will be ZCX targets after 30% BTC correction? That's a really good question. Okay, so this is primarily, it looks like on KuCoin. KuCoin is not going to be US friendly. It already isn't because you can't technically without a VPN deposit more money on it, but soon it's just going to limit US customers completely. All right, so this is its 2-year trend line as well. It's broken above, used it as support, has taken out look left 1, 2 local highs, and it's pulling back. So this is in its little U-shaped pattern to potentially prepare itself for the next bull run. It's actually not that bad right now. 30% correction on Bitcoin would be about a 40 something on here. So it would hit. So you'd have to make a 1/4 line for this guy. This. Ah, bastard. Right there. Perhaps a wick below, but if then statement, if Bitcoin goes 15 for 15 years or 14 for 14 years for its New Year's correction, 5.5 cents would be its target. What should be another higher low on the weekly. Or its first higher low. Yeah. It hasn't made a higher high yet. So it's still in a weekly downtrend. This is a lower low, and this is still a lower high. So yeah, that could be its weekly beginning of a weekly uptrend. Could be very, very good for it. Actually, that pullback would be very good for whatever the hell this coin is. It could be a pretty good pickup. What is your feeling about ADA price? Okay, well, it has gone above its 1.5-year long bear channel, which is a different type of channel as well. It's not perfectly with these slopes. This channel is not the slope line. Rather, the slope line is the point of control of the channel, which is a rarer type of. Don't wrap your head around what you're saying here necessarily, but in general, just the top line. Rejected by this top line, used it perfectly as support. Couldn't get an uptrend, but it maintained a horizontal and is really, it took out 1, 2, Took out 3 look left weekly local highs. Wow. Whoa. You're looking for a weekly higher low. Just roughly do a 45-degree angle here. And it is going to be set up for a nice higher macro higher low after that. That might be a little bit too aggressive. Something like this would be my target. And I would go like something like here. And we'll leave that there, see how it works. It's kind of, the average slope is about like this. So kind of, how fast does it on average move down? About that fast. Somewhere like there, because I'm expecting New Year, so it might be a little faster. I put it a little on the faster slope side. So I would say it's possible that somewhere around 40 cents could end up being your higher low grab, your first weekly higher low. Yeah, your first weekly higher low grab. Yep, because this the most recent weekly low was the lowest low. So it's going from the lowest low to breaking 3 local highs, which means its correction down will have to be pretty serious. Because you took out look left 3 weekly freaking highs. I mean, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It'll have to correct pretty good. So it'll do much more than 30% correction, most likely. Hopefully this matches. Yeah, 40%. So that does align with New Year's pullback. There you go, 88 price. Yeah, that's really constructive. I wouldn't chase this though, because it needs to make a weekly higher low, and it will very likely happen on this. Now, if it keeps going up, it'll still happen on that. You just have to extend it farther, and it's up higher because it's rising. But it'll still happen on this area. If it makes a higher low, which it probably will. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think this is the push it needed to give buyers confidence to create a weekly higher low, and then begin its sideways phase before accumulation, before a bull market. Yeah, I think it looks really constructive. And to the downside, I think it did much less than 95%, only 93% down this time. Very nice. Much better than 98.7% last time. Went down almost 99% last bull market, bear market. Crazy. Can I look at DAG? Naka? Yeah, I think somebody else asked for Naka. DAG. This actually looks great. All right, Bruce Fisher, I'll get your question here in a second. This looks really good, actually. This is a 2-year-long bear channel. It's operating off of lower weekly lows to screaming above 1 up to the second look left weekly higher high. Cardano went to the 3rd, but this is just now breaking out of its 2-year channel. So just like Cardano, it still came down to use this as support, but it's technically already done that inside of it. So now if we zoom way into here, look, remember how I said on Flux or whatever, the Flux was a comparison point to whatever we covered earlier. What was it on? Damn it, Ren or Celo. Remember I said draw this thing exactly because you could get a nasty long-term move based off the micro time frames. Let's see if it worked on this one. This one seems to be a smaller alt. It might be a little sloppier in here, but let's find out. Okay, so here's this 2-year-long bear line on the, they were on the 15-minute chart, okay? So you have a failure pattern because you come back, so this isn't a punch high because this was not used as support. It's called a failure pattern. If it comes back down, does not use that line of support. Doesn't matter if it's a high or low, it did not hit that line. Another one, it kind of used it as support, but you can see when it came down here, it missed support. Like that's not support on that line. This wick was, but then yeah, I don't see a punch high anywhere. It never used clear support, and you can see that it clearly broke down. Like that rule seriously just works. As long as your lines are accurate and it is what big money, like the bigger money in that crypto or asset are looking at. You see how perfectly it got rejected from here. So here it was a little sloppier. It did not work as Bitcoin would have, but you came up very round punch high. That's weird. That does not happen on Bitcoin. So this is because it's not traded as much. It moves a little differently. Made a higher low, did not get support, and it did accelerate when it got above here without being used as support. So as I anticipated, it was a little sloppier. The smaller the alt, the more sloppy sometimes it moves. This isn't traded very much. So the concept kind of worked, particularly with the idea that it didn't use it as support, broke down, perfect rejection. But then when you got above and crossed your punch, like a rounded punch high, which is weird. Usually it's a more V-shaped punch high like this. Punch high typically used as support, in this case didn't, and you accelerate exactly when you get over the look left, your punch high. Wow, what a move up. So the bigger the asset, the more perfectly it will move on those lines. And now, what would I expect here? I would expect there's a chance it comes down and tags this one more time. %30 pullback on Bitcoin, 40% here. Yeah, I think it can hit this on a wick. I would try to make this line on my chart for DAG. Yep, very, very good chance. Assuming Bitcoin goes 14 out of 14 years instead of 13 out of 14 years with a correction, I'd say it's going to hit that line. Potentially on a wick. So the only way you would be able to grab something like that is with limit buys already down there, which is slightly riskier. Because what if the ETF stuff is buy the news, sell the rumor, maybe we go up one more time, and then the New Year's correction happens naturally, and then you get a rebound lower high, lower high, and then the SEC comes out with stuff like, hey, you gotta delist almost everything besides Bitcoin. And then everything goes down lower. That would be your one major risk. It would probably take some news like the SEC doing a massive delistings, forcing delistings within American exchanges. But without something like that, I think that this next higher low area could be a great spot to consider DCAing into this over time, with expectations that a bull run won't start until early/mid, maybe March, April, maybe in February, but early-ish 2025. Therefore 2024 might be boring and sideways accumulation phase. So I wouldn't expect, hey, I'm gonna get it where Tim said, and then it's like this. I mean, no. I would expect get it down here and then you wobble around, and then you have more time to accumulate roughly in that area, with the chance that it does this, goes up and wobbles around for a year higher. That is very likely as well. Yep, that's how I treat it. I would see this as a very good opportunity for this. I don't even know what that is, but that does look like a very good opportunity. All right, and I covered everything. Perfect. Now I'm going to get to Dave's, or was it Dave? Bruce. Sorry, Bruce's question here. Can I look at Cyber Arena Cat? It's a new microcap gaming project. Please give your thoughts on its market cap potential. I remember Cat. I'm pretty sure that was a 2017 coin. It's a new microcap. It's gaming. So is it the cyber one? This came out in October of 2023. This is probably the one. Let's make sure it's not this one. Shit. No, that's 2020, so it's got to be the other one. Okay, perfect. All right, so Cat or Cyber Arena. So it's not the same 2017 coin I was thinking of, but there was one that's called Cat. Damn, it already got up to its starting point. Wow. Okay, I do have thoughts on that. It's on Mexi, it's on Bybit. Those are two really good exchanges. So here's what I think about it. I timestamped last time somebody asked me, hey, what are your picks? And that's a private community video. And I timestamped it and I went through all my picks, and the picks are the same play as this. When you look left, as long as you came out in the bear markets at the 69K top or after is better. Typically. And this came out way after recently. Like this came out in October of this year, like super, super recently. So, but this U shape come out in a bear market, you have a supermassive black hole effect where it sucks price into this point. As long as you didn't at that point, this point here was not previous bull market influenced. So it came out right at the 69K top and it just got killed, like Glimmer and Mover, those polka dot coins. Even though I think Mover went up and then did all this. And Glimmer was just straight down and now is like here, right? And so Glimmer, it should eventually, it'll probably take a whole bull market because it came out at the 69K top. So because Glimmer's equivalent of this, now Glimmer's a large cap coin. I can go here. But I want you to understand that this shape is important. And this is my thoughts on this coin, but it's a smaller time frame. So you're going to have to wrap your head around the idea that smaller time frames make smaller moves on a percentage basis, but the shape will be the same. So Glimmer came out right at the 16. Oh, I guess it did see 1 week of green. It's all 1 week. It's opening week, whatever. Straight down. So the supermassive black hole effect here, it's going to be a little harder because it did come out right around the 69K top, like a month and a half after. Or a month after. So it'll technically be harder to get up to here. Like I said, the farther after the 69K top that a coin comes out and makes this shape, the easier it is to get up there, right? This one came out at it, so it's going to be a little harder. But still, this is not a bad play. Supermassive black hole, not at that wick high. Don't count on that. So I'm around here at the weekly closures. And so Glimmer should, because it's a longer, this point back here, the supermassive black hole happened a lot farther ago. So a lot farther back means it'll take a lot longer to get up there. So you essentially have to split the U in half, and the equidistance here, boom, go like this. It should take, until late 2024 or longer. Exactly. So it should be symmetric. Symmetrical, I'm not for sure the adjective there. Symmetrical, yeah. So now going back here, it's already challenged this. And again, so if you split this in half, the time scale here is it's very, very short, right? We're looking at 1 month and 1 month. So on a percentage basis, usually the percentage basis is smaller too, but that could be like a 20x. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, it's a 12x. Okay, so the way that price behaves after it goes up to a supermassive black hole, there are a lot of options, but now that it's completed it, you can assume that the same shape it will make will be similar to what happened on a coin that did this during an entire bull market and then had a whole bear market, because this is a shorter time frame, but the shape will be the same. And instead of going to Glimmer to compare down here of why this strategy works, supermassive black hole after 69, after the previous top, now you'll be able to see what type of shape can it take out these lows, right? So now a coin that made almost this exact same shape, but over a longer span of time, so we can see what the potentials are for downside, is MTV. It's an altcoin called MTV. It used to be a community coin. It might be in the future. So here we go. Very similar shape up to here. There you go. And go back to Cat, MTV. Had a little bit more accumulation here. This accumulation was more downsloped, not very common. You usually get, it's still a U shape or a W. All right, same shape. And now look at, this is a very common response. So this, what you're about ready to see, this price action, this will happen like if it's something similar, which it probably will be, this will happen over a much shorter time frame because we're anticipating a drawback. So it could make one more like higher high. Look, this took out its high. That is an option. Pull back, Bitcoin goes to 48K first, and then your New Year's correction. So if there is a 48K pop, your coin will probably go above its all-time high, just like MTV did. Got right back into the channel. It almost left it for a while and got right back into it. I'm kind of curious. I don't remember where price is right now. I would assume it's above here, above that line, which is really important. Let me take off the replay. It is barely above that line. All right. So it could. So what could happen is on a shorter time frame, it's this slope right here, and it goes to touch it. So see this slope right here? Okay, this is where the first time that bigger groups of buyers will step in. Just like at MTV, you had a better trend. This trend line, that's where buyers stepped in. So I would anticipate on a much, so that took like 2 years for that to happen on MTV, right? So this could happen over a course of a couple months. Down to this line, and boom, I will put a target there. And this is under the premise or the assumption. So do look at it, doesn't go down there too fast. Gotta have lower highs as well, right? Boom, boom, lower high, all that stuff. And the potential for a 48K pop and then come down. So somewhere between here or here is where I would guess. And those price points would be bam. Under the premise that we do get a New Year's correction on Bitcoin. All right. Hopefully that was worth your super chat. All right, and then Zuma, AKT. Let me make sure I answered all of your question. It's a new microcap project. Please give your thoughts on its market cap potential. I didn't answer your question. Shit. Okay, so that's the pullback. Yeah, it's exceptionally likely to break this all-time high because it came out. Its supermassive black hole is much, much, much after the Bitcoin 69K top. Therefore, the probability of it going well above there is very, very good. Unlike something like Glimmer, which came out right at the 69K top, it's improbable that Glimmer will make all-time highs ever again. But it's fairly likely that it'll challenge all-time highs or get fairly close. So, market cap potential for something like this, Cyber Arena, its market cap currently is Microcap. It's under 2 million. Circulating supply says that only 16% is in circulation, which isn't horrible. That's kind of par for the course right now. So this is not SEC proof. If the SEC makes Coinbase and all that stuff delist, whatever, unless this is not on any U.S. exchanges, I guess it might not be affected by it. But this could be attacked by the SEC. Because founders and early investors have most of the tokens. I would want to see so for this, my warning to you is this. Knowing that there's a 4-year cycle, and this came out recently, the team might have planned for the vast majority of inflation of this coin to get most of the circulating supply. They might have timed it to be in 2024, 2025 specifically. So you need to look at the tokenomics on this. Because if their distribution of tokens is heavily focused towards that bull run, which if I were in their shoes, that's exactly what I would do. It would allow my team to raise enough money through you all buying my tokens that I minted out of thin air and sold to you. I would inflate it during the most time of interest to have the little effect as possible visually, but technically it would suppress how high it could go by a lot. So you need to figure that out first. What is their distribution of token schedule, and is it concentrated during the bull run? If it's a linear thing slowly over like the next 12 years, then you could actually forget about the inflation, because the chaos of retail people buying crypto, like linear inflation lines, it doesn't matter at that point. Like people market buying, it'll just overcome it. That would be the homework I do on that. Its market cap potential. Well, I mean, let's just go back to MTV. It was a really, really small cap too. And it did 36x in 40 days. Market cap. Log off. So yeah, its market cap was 2 million down here. Boom, 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 boom. Had that nasty, ridiculous run up. You got to 100 million. Which is more than 50x for you, because it's under 2 million right now. So with the idea that it could easily get up to 100 million, which a lot of tokens do during a bull run, yeah, I would say 50 million would be my guess, but that would be lower price if they inflate during the bull run. A higher market cap with more coins in circ is the same price. If the coin circ increases at the same rate as the market cap increases, that means price is this. You have no gains. That's why I started with that. You got to check that out. And that's Bruce Fisher's super chat. Okay, and then we got Zuma, AKT. When would be a good time to start DCAing? Looks like it's already gone up so much this year. Perhaps I missed it. Do you think it could have another big dip? AKT, a cash network. Okay, let's look at the market cap first. Oh wow, so it is at all-time highs, all-time market cap highs. Wow, that's strong. Holy, oh, it saw the whole bull run, whole bear market, and is already at all-time highs? What is this? This is, whatever this is probably going to be a flavor of the month. And you might want to start looking at coins that are the same as this. This looks like this saw the whole last bull market, whole bear market is breaking off. This is going to be a flavor. What the hell is this? This is probably too much good info for public, but wow. Holy shit. I don't know what this is. Okay, I don't want to dive into fundamentals and do all that stuff, but this looks this looks like a really good sign of guessing which coins I should be chasing here. Not exactly this one, but coins that are trying to do the same thing. There we go. Oh, it's not quite to all-time highs. Okay, so the market cap's past all-time highs, but there's been coin inflation, so the price is not the same. But they haven't inflated too many coins though, because it's almost on par. So market cap's up here, price is up here. That means they didn't inflate too much. Pretty good. Damn. Yeah, this is really impressive. Well, what was the question? DCAing. Yeah, that's a tough one. Oh, shit. I would do a weekly rising channel. Yes, I did it almost exactly perfect on my first try. Ha! Love it when that happens. I'm going to do it on the daily. Right there. Yes! Awesome. Okay, so here... All right. I would say when it's under the point of control and closest to the bottom, maybe bouncing on the 1/4 line. So 0 line, 1/4 line, half court, 3/4 top. When it's under the point of control and closer to the 1/4 or bottom, that might be as good as it gets. But I have not used one of the most profitable tools possible, your measuring stick. If things corrected soon, oh yeah, that coincides with the Bitcoin 30% correction. Yeah, yep. There you go. So I think that's probably as good as it gets for this. But I would wait till that 1/4 line or the 0 line is hit. I really doubt that even a New Year's correction. So it would take Bitcoin going well under 20K. Yes, Bitcoin would have to go under 20K for this channel to be broken. I don't think that's going to happen. Remember at the beginning of the stream, if you're watching this and you didn't see the beginning of the stream, it's timestamped, or the video that I'm recording, whatever the version you see. I did super macro mega stuff for Bitcoin, and I don't think Bitcoin has permission to go much under 23K or 24K. I don't think it quote unquote can at this point, which is a very different tune than I had 8 months ago, when I thought maybe 8 months ago is when I started saying 40% likely that the bottom is in, and then that's the point where I was increasing slowly. And now it's just exceptionally probable it is in. So yeah, I think this channel is your guide. That should be worth your $10 super chat, because this could be a really good play. And try to in the future come on one of my, if I do a live stream or whatever, like I don't know, or ask a question on just general YouTube. Hey, I asked you about AKT a while back or whatever. Next live stream or next whatever, could you take a look at it? Like 6 months in the future or whatever. Please try to remember to do that. I want to see what it does on here, and I might not come back to this unless you ask. But I do need to save this because I need to investigate what the hell this is doing and what other coins. So I'm going to do orange for flavor of the month. My blue ones are my ones that I'm interested in for buy and hold type of stuff. This is not a small hold. Yeah, that's really impressive. And perhaps the most profitable thing about AKT is that it could lead you to guess. After this New Year's correction, you have a list of coins that are trying to do this in the same type of way, as long as it's something like kind of newish, right? Not an Ethereum killer, Ethereum competitor. If that is, that's not going to be the flavor of the month, and this will be a false alarm. But whatever the hell this is, if it's something like that's in a space, whether it's gaming ecosystems like Gala or something, whatever this is, finding coins that have not gone on this race, the same type of race, that do the same thing is probably going to be a good play. Woo, and that could be even more valuable than this channel. Could be. BEPRO. All right, let's do it. BEPRO's been on a tear. BEPRO versus Bitcoin, not looking very good, but it shouldn't in a bull market. So just realize it's not ready. Actually, no, it does have a higher low. Last time it just did a quick daily higher low and really went off, but that was in the middle of a raging bull market, right? So technically, this is more constructive than all this. It looks similar to this, so it still could go down versus Bitcoin when Bitcoin races up to all-time highs. So this isn't ready to do nasty work, like get up to 1.5, 2 cents, because it's not ready on the BTC chart. Usually when coins fly, they are ready to pounce on top of Bitcoin chart, on its BTC pairing chart. That's when, if it's ready to bounce on the US dollar chart and the BTC chart, your gains are, the moves are like 3 and 4 times bigger than a normal move, as long as both charts agree that it's getting ready to blast up. So BEPRO is getting close. It's doing something very constructive. It's 2-year line. And if you want to look at something really cool, go to my March 16th video, where on a thumbnail, I'm holding a fireball in my hand at minute number 35 or so. I think it's 35. It should be timestamped, but at minute 35, I call the top live on the exact day. That's a cool one. March 16th. I believe it's March 16th. It's the one I'm holding a fireball. So if you want to see if somebody actually called the top, and then say it could crash down to a penny as the third most likely, which it actually went lower. People thought I was freaking nuts just thinking it was going to go here. Look, I said it could crash down to a penny, and it did as the third most likely. That's like a 70% drop. Look. See that? That's an 80% drop. Hey, look how much lower it went. And I got called an idiot for saying, yeah, third most likely is going down to a penny. A penny is up here. Look at this. Remember this for next time. Oh, man. Okay, but this is very constructive. This is a 2-year-long bear channel. It is getting squeezed in a bullish triangle. Honestly, this looks... Yeah, honestly, this looks actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, whatever high or low it puts in with the New Year's correction, under the assumption that does happen, as it approaches this line, that could be... Man, it could get really, really... If you look left on the weekly, it should go up to the third local high. This could be very aggressive. Oh, fuck. The third local high would be a little closer to a penny. And yeah, I mean, it really could. I don't know why it works, but when you break a massively long slope line on the weekly, so as long as it's like a 1.5 2 years old line, you need to use the weekly. If you're viewing, if your price, looks similar, slope line, but you're on the 5-minute chart, you still do the same idea. You break above, you look left, 1, 2, 3, and you typically go to that third one, or second or third. It's the same thing. It just happens over a very small time scale. You look left, the third high up, when you break a slope line. I don't know why it works. It just does. It's almost always the second or the third. No matter the time frame, 5-minute or weekly. So 1, 2. This could be 3. That could be 2, 3. So it might be here. Yeah, this is actually more reasonable because that is a local high, and people will be selling here and actually at this low. So yeah, I would say this is the third one. I apologize. Not quite 1 point. Yeah, that's too high. Right here. Yep. 0.007. That makes a lot more sense. And you'll be able to see the very beginning of that move happen, where if you get it right as you get the trigger, you're green forever until it hits. Like with no pullbacks, no fake outs, no re-entering, no getting stopped out, re-entering a second and third time, which you usually have to do for really good positions that lost a long time. You either have to build slowly, which is very dangerous in a bear market because you're just buying at losses, or or you wait for a game plan like this. So what would that be? 007. If it came down here, use this as support roughly. Let's say a 40% correction from there. Yep, that's perfect. Yep, use the middle of this as support. BEPRO come back down to here. I'll just put a target. 0060. There's a 00065. This would be my target somewhere here for a New Year's correction. Boom. Something like that. And that would hit the top of the 3/4 line perfectly and a macro horizontal. And then the next time it approaches this line, ooh, man. Yeah, the target would be pretty big. On a percentage basis, what would that be? If you got that pickup down there, that's an 11. That's a 12x. 1,100% is 12x. Just as 100% is 2x, 200% is 3x. You add 1. You add 1 to the x from the percentage, from the hundreds of percentage. Damn. That looks like a pretty good spot trade. I'm not gonna lie. I would be a seller into that move for sure. I would be probably, I would assume we're not in a bull market, or if it doesn't happen in a bull market, which I don't think will happen until 2025. But if that line were hit, I would be a heavy seller. Now, if it goes sideways and consolidates for all of 2024 and then hits that, then I would probably only 20 bag or sell 20% on my holdings, whatever I took when I bought it, down here. Because selling more than 20 to 30% in a bull market, it often screws you because often it goes like 3 levels higher, then lands on it, then you're buying it back where you sold it. Or it never comes back down. But in a sideways market, like 50 to 100 bagging is my personal strategy. I'm not making that suggestion to you, but if this line is hit in 2024, not 2025, I would become a seller into that. 007. Or 008. 007 to 008. James Bond and his counterpart. Potential for the end of its bull run, I don't think it'll meet all-time highs. I think it will potentially challenge all-time highs, but more likely have trouble somewhere in this box. From its first lower high to its all-time high, I think that's where it'll rest. I don't think it'll have gum. Oh yeah, Tim's BEPRO top guess. I already have my guess right here. So yeah, it's at the first obvious lower high, and if you picked it up here, boom, still 25x. For the chance that it actually does break all-time highs. I strongly don't think it will, but as long as you think, okay, quote unquote worst case. Obviously, this is not real worst case because crypto is very volatile, very risky, and the SEC still could come out, which is why I'm still flat. I'm not in alts. But quote unquote worst case, you're looking at it does get stopped here at the first local high from its top, and that's 23. Not horrible. Yeah, looks like a great play. But honestly, I think the first great play is going to be when it first rallies above this. Like, that could be super violent, and then it could just go sideways for like 8 months, and then hit the last of the bit. Something like that. Cool, that's BEPRO. Oh, man. Idea has just gotten destroyed. I don't know, from a price perspective, I don't know what their team is doing. I wish okay, so I want you to know about this. Because I spoke about Idea and held a lot of it, it's the only altcoin that I chose not to sell. Because I didn't want to dump on everybody. And I talked about it a lot. So I pretty much got my butt kicked on that, but no other altcoins. Just that one. Which is why I don't really want to talk about altcoins that I'm trading next bull run, because I got stuck in that. I just felt too bad. I could have saved about easy 5 digits of money had I not done that, but it's okay. Karma will come back to me in the end. Fuck, it's above its bear market line. That's weird. Huh. I'm kind of surprised. When it controls a little too. Actually, interesting. At 99.9, yeah. That so when you go down 99.9. I mean, you're not going to have that supermassive black hole effect all the way to the top, with the idea that this came out at the 64K top, which is, not bad. And it made an equal high as most altcoins made a lower high to Bitcoin's 69K top. The vast majority of altcoins did. But it went down 99.9%. What was your question? I would say it has a chance to go kind of like BEPRO up to its first obvious weekly lower high. And, if you got it on a slight pullback and it goes all the way up there, that's 200x. Wow. Look at that. Whoa. That might be too ambitious. But it doesn't take a lot of money to get it up there. I don't know. I think that's the most bullish case. That would be a 200x. So this could be your moonshot. I would not treat this as anything other than a moonshot coin. So something like whatever's a low amount of money to you, $100, $500, something that's a small amount, that if it did do 200x, that it would be a good, a good amount of money for you. You'd be very happy. I wouldn't treat it, but I would not treat it as something like I'm buying, $10,000 of this. Tim said 200x. No, because there's not enough people willing to sell you that. So if you try to buy $10,000 of it, you're going to make the price go up by yourself. And then when you're done buying, it'll come straight back down. And then you're at a big loss. So this, from a liquidity standpoint, it pretty much has to be treated as a moonshot coin. And you might have trouble buying it as an American if you're an American, because it's mostly on. Oh, it's now on Poloniex, which is American friendly. Interesting. On MEXC as well. Wow, they've actually done a lot of work getting on different. That is kind of impressive. Damn. I don't know. That's a good sign. It got destroyed during the bear market, came out at the 64K top, but has done work on exchanges. I don't think I've seen that mix. Usually it's the other way around. You start getting delisted during that kind of stuff. I think it's not a bad moonshot pick, man. I'm not going to lie. It's not horrible. Moonshot only. All right. I'm going to see if anybody else had really good questions. Rainbow is one of the coins I am looking at for a supermassive black hole play. I'm not buying it, so I'm not in alts right now, but yeah, supermassive black hole play. If you do get a pullback from here to just to here, that's a 95x if situation. And it came out in May of 2022, very far after the 69K Bitcoin top, which makes it more probable that is it, or better. I mean, I'm just going for that play right here. It came out after the 69K top, and it usually hits. So I don't know what your question was, but yeah, that is one of my main ideas here. This is going to be one of my personal moonshot coins. All right, and then this is our BW. QRDO, market cap and price targets. Okay. I think QRDO is one that I skipped over or didn't get to, so I'll cover that, then I'm going to head off of here. Gemini, Bitfinex, BitGet, KuCoin. So this came out after the 64K top. This was Bitcoin 69K top, so it came out in a good spot. Very likely to see this during the entirety of the bull run. I would not expect its first move to go all the way straight up there. I would expect a lot of accumulation between that wick and this high here and below. So below here, a lot of accumulation, perhaps all of 2024. I'll make it cleaner here in a second. And then with the push of a altcoin bull run in 2025, probably not 2024, I would expect it to finally make its way up to here. And boom, pull back up to there. Oh wow, that's a huge, wow, that's a 250x. Wow. Do I have this one saved? Yeah, I do. So this is another one. I don't know what the liquidity is on this, but man, I mean, typically coins that come out at a top, a macro top, and suffer the whole bear market and did not get glory of the bull market, you almost always see that. They almost see that high. Almost every time. Wow. Wow. Holy cow. That is So my targets for this is once it breaks above here, whenever that happens, which could be fairly soon, I think it'll accumulate below this box of below 35 and 25 cents roughly. Make a box there. I think it'll spend a long time somewhere over here, 2024, playing with this and higher lows, something like that in 2025. Then it's up. I'll leave it. I might be able to leave it like this for, actually, let me make it a little bit. So boom, 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 something like this. Good. So pull back. Your first one could be at 11x. Having a seller into that move. 2024 be boring and sideways, just like 2019. 2020 was anticipating a 4-year cycle again. Yeah, looks good. Looks really nice. All right, that's it for this one. I typically don't do public live shows, but this, for anybody just from general YouTube, it's not a part of the community. This is the type of stuff that I do for the private YouTube community. I think the lower tier is like $3 a month. You can just click if there's a join button below here, you can check that out. A 90-second video pops up, shows you what you get. Or if you don't see that on this live stream, the join button for YouTube, then you can go to my last public YouTube video. It is there. And then the Discord links are in the description section of all my videos. I will see the private community tomorrow at 12 p.m. New York, just like on almost every Tuesday and Thursday. And then for anybody watching this from the Discord community, Reptilian live chat is on Friday of this week at noon at the normal time. And I will see Cryptilians Friday, and VIPs are Thursday at 11:30. Coveted slot. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.